Hello there, my name's Mark, aka The Canardian, and this is episode 36 of the Holocron Chronicles. We have a full house tonight, including, as always, my trusty co-pilot, Charlie. Charlie, how you doing tonight?
Purple Rain. I'm good. I'm back from a non-Star Wars related event in Chicago that I will try not to talk about.
That was definitely an exciting event, though. I saw some pictures. It looked very, very fun, very cool. If anyone's interested, you'll be sharing your social stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. And gushing about it on this week's recording of Code 47, which will be out next Monday. So it'll be absolutely. and on SFU as well, which will be out on Friday. So it'll be all over the place.
Perfect. We are also joined by, I think, our first and only 3-time returning guest. I think this is the most anyone's been back on the show. We are absolutely blessed with a presence from the first Okiro. How you doing tonight?
See, these guys are really gassing me up for no reason. I wasn't even invited. I just barged in here, and I refuse to leave now. And apologies for there being no picture. My computer doesn't have a webcam, so you're just going to have to deal with this disemboweled voice. I'm sorry for the nightmares you're going to have later.
He does. He really looks like Yak Face. Watch out.
It really does. I just hit every fugly tree on the way down. I am sparing you guys. I make Jar Jar look hot.
Oh boy!
Listen. We've seen, anyone on your Twitter has seen the gym pictures. Maybe not your face, but you're getting pretty ripped. So I'm thinking you're going to give Kylo a run for his money, or Cobb Vanth, or any other.
Those thirst pictures are for Charlie only, and I just display them for everyone else to see.
Oh boy! You didn't have to tell it like it is.
It's a silver hair, man. It does it for me. It just scratches the itch.
I ain't scratching no itches yet. Let me have a couple more drinks. I did with the cheap whiskey. Did go with the Star Wars. It's a set of 2. This is the I know, and the other one says I love you. Is a set my wife and I got for Christmas a couple years ago.
Oh, that's adorable. That's sweet.
That is pretty amazing. We also have a special guest, first time on this show, but you're kind of making the rounds from the Secret Friend shows. We had you on Co-op Mode. I know you've been on proper Secret Friends proper. Have you been on Code 47? Or is that
I have not, and I actually thought you were talking about me as a third-time guest in like 1 week. So this is my third one in 1 week.
Well,
he is. He's got that record. Yeah, he's got that. We've never had anybody who weaseled their way into our hearts so specifically.
Yeah, that was my intention.
Yes, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Excellent. So let's start, since we don't usually have 2 people we need to introduce, but since Okiro has already been on the show, we've already gone through your Star Wars origin, all that kind of stuff. I hope people have listened to your episodes before. But let's start on a little update, man. What's new and exciting in your world, your ever-growing YouTube and Twitter presence? What's new and exciting?
Twitter, I don't think there's anything new about Twitter. It's still a burning hellscape that we're all just trying to survive, so that's fun. YouTube, ironically, not much going on either. I'm just posting videos talking about Star Wars, same as ever. Mostly a lot of the new upcoming videos I'm going to be are kind of talking about the future of Star Wars, since Celebration's around the corner and we're going to be getting a lot of new Star Wars news, so I don't know. Been diving into that to see where that goes.
Nice. What's of the confirmed projects? What's your most anticipated?
Confirm? That's a good question. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for Kenobi, but I kind of know where that ends. This movie that came out in the 70s spoiled it. Same thing with Andor. This movie that came out in 2016 spoiled it. And Ahsoka, she's going to live forever, so I don't need to worry about that. So, ironically, probably the Acolyte, because I have no idea what they're going to do with that. It's completely unknown. So, that's actually my most anticipated project.
Absolutely, that one. I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with that one. And it's like you said, it's not only unknown, but like unexplored territory as far as like live action goes. Like that time setting, everything is just fully unexplored. So that's
the first High Republic story, live action.
Yeah, really cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Unconfirmed projects. What would you love to come up? What are your videos been? What have your videos been talking about? What?
I got a controversial video coming out tomorrow. It's about why we need a sequel trilogy follow up story, and it's controversial because the sequel trilogy is that discussion is just a burning fire in Detroit. But like, we gotta move the timeline forward. Oh, I'm so sorry, Charlie. Not for insulting Detroit. Not for insulting Detroit. I'm just sorry you were born there. I'm sorry about that.
I was born in the suburbs, but still, we always say Detroit.
I don't know. I would love a follow up to the sequel trilogy. Not because personally I think the trilogy was the best, but I do like the actors, I like the characters, and I want to see new things in Star Wars. And a lot of the stuff we're getting is set in the past, and a lot of the older films and shows have already spoiled where everything's going to go. So I like uncharted territory. Show me some new things.
Yeah, I'd love that. A continuation of any of the like Rey Skywalker, for anyone listening that doesn't understand that. Rey, let me repeat myself. Skywalker. There we go.
Can you spell that for me? No.
I will for sure in the show notes. I'll make sure it's called Rey Skywalker. I would love that continuation or continue on with Finn. Obviously, I have a pretty special place in my heart for Finn as a character. I liked him so much when I saw Force Awakens. I decided that's going to be the name of my firstborn kid, and here we are. So I'm with you there. I want that continued for sure. Whether it's, I mean, if they can get the actors and get something together live action, cool. At this point, I just accept comics or a cartoon or whatever. Just continue it on.
Oh, it's Disney. They can get these guys. They already kidnapped Oscar for that Star Cruiser commercial. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He was going to the set of Moon Knight, and Kathy's like, hey, Oscar, get in this damn Star Cruiser and promote it. We're not letting you run back.
Here's some money. Come here for some money.
That's it. Here's a new penthouse. Here's a new penthouse. Here's a new Lamborghini. Come on, get in there. We're going to kidnap your best friend, Pedro Pascal. We won't let him back on The Mandalorian anymore. We got his voice.
Yeah, that's. I read some asinine thing they were going to recast him. There was a rumor going around or something like that. I was like,
how can you? He's in the armor though. What are you recasting?
There's already 2-3 stuntmen that kind of take over, and then
there's 3 stuntmen.
Yeah, come on. All right, well that's exciting, man. So by the time people listen to this, your new video is going to be out. So we'll tell people where they can find you and all that kind of stuff at the end of the show. But I want to ask Steve a few questions.
Go for it,
Steve.
Yes.
What is your Star Wars origin story? How did you get into the Star Wars universe?
So back in the 80s, there was this device called the VHS VCR recorder. My father had one of the biggest, bulkiest ones on the block growing up, and he used to tape every night. This is probably 81, maybe, if I'm guessing, the ABC or NBC Sunday night movie, and commercials and all, and it would have, we had Poltergeist, and we had MASH, and we had Star Wars, and in the house that I grew up in, we had our little 28-inch television, and we had that VHS system hooked up to it, and he used to watch that all the time, and thusly, when I was a little kid, I used to watch it all the time. So my very first memories of watching that was with that jingle, that ABC Sunday night movie, jingle, and all the junk commercials that were along with it. So I probably ate that tape up as well as Poltergeist and all the other ones for a couple years until I think I skipped, if we're going just through the first original trilogy, I think I skipped, I ended up seeing Empire Strikes Back in the same format, and it was only until 84 when Jedi came out that we went to stand in line at a small movie theater called the Woodland Theater in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I'm from. The line went out about a half a mile outside, all through the parking lot. I remember standing there in the back, but I was probably only, 7 years old, maybe?
Yeah.
Standing with my dad, and my younger brother was probably 5, and we waited all afternoon to get in to see that movie. Knew it was from Star Wars, but didn't understand what hype was, and that was hype at the time if that many people were out there. And the one thing I do remember walking into that movie and watching it, literally halfway through the movie, the projector got caught, and we had the melted screen, and it ate itself.
That that happened to my cousin when we were kids. When he was seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was right getting into the end of getting into the third act when Indy's doing the fight around the plane. And Marion's in the cockpit shooting, and then the screen melted.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, what are you gonna do?
I've never experienced that before. Can they fix that while you're there, or is it like come back tomorrow?
Well, no. So I remember going back outside and basically staying in the parking lot for about an hour with my brother and father, and then we got to come in and basically see the last half of the movie again. I think it happened during when C-3PO was pretending to be a god or whatever for the Ewoks, so it wasn't in like a critical moment, but I obviously remember that very well. And then just as a kid having those trading cards, those Topps trading cards, Charlie probably remembers. I don't know how old you are, Garo, but collecting those in the summertime and swapping those with friends and getting so excited to put your imagination in these singular pictures and then understand where the scene was in the movie. So that was kind of my original basis for it. And then as I might have said in the other podcast, I'm a huge movie fan. Maybe you can see from back here. I've got Leia back there. And I got my Star Wars trilogy here I talked about on original Laserdisc. Growing up, going through college, love movies. Basically bought everything I could. I've gone through every single iteration when they released them originally on widescreen in the VHS tapes, and then released them with the effects cuts in the 90s, and then the Laserdisc. So I've been a lifelong fan of Star Wars.
Awesome. What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Well, I mean, I think are we talking about all 9, or are we just talking about the OG? So
yeah, all 9.
I'm gonna go what everybody says, and that's going to be number 5. So it's Empire Strikes Back, of course, in my world. Again, to me, it represented the most cinematic and dramatic movies out of the entire series, all 9 of them, actually. But definitely the first one. I mean, obviously, the first one kicked everything off, and it's a fantastic movie in its own right. But the second one, the 5th one, it took it to a whole new dramatic edge. And whether or not that was Irving Kershner coming in and doing his thing and his dramatic background, or his edgier, darker background, or it was the middle part of a perceived trilogy at the time, it definitely left the most of the imagination and left so many questions that really got you jazzed up, obviously, to see Return of the Jedi.
Excellent. I can only imagine that experience for Empire, like the thing melting down just as it, you killed my father. No, I'm sure that happened.
Well, but truthfully, Mark, I mean that analogous to what you just said. That's what happened to the entire world when that movie ended, because we had to wait for 2 years or whatever till it came out. So we kind of got the real life version of the melting screen
with only Starlog magazine to hold you over.
Yeah, I had to wait a week when my aunt first introduced me to those movies. She lent me her VHS copies, but she made me wait a week between them. I can't imagine. I mean, I can. I'm a Marvel and Star Wars fan and everything, so I know waiting between movies, Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff. I've had to wait for movies before, so I can't imagine it. But like, I can't picture that one for that kind of cliffhanger for Star Wars. My wait was a excruciating week, but like, holy shit, man! Like waiting a couple of years for that. That's wild.
I would equate that actually personally more to something like Lord of the Rings when I was in my early 20s. As a kid, it was cool, but it was like such a novelty in movies to have something that connected and with characters that were so interesting. So I'm not sure that I actually really recognized what it was at the time it was there. It was just like, oh, the movie ended. I wonder what's going to happen. Now I'm going to go play with my Legos for a little while. And a year later, your dad goes, hey, the next one's out. And you go, oh, okay. And then when you go to the next one, though, that was the kind of that reminded you, that put you back in the mode of like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they lost him. Hey, now we're on this desert planet. What do we do? Oh, wait a minute. That's why we're here, because Han and all that. Charlie, what were you? How did you feel about that? Okiro.
Well, I mean, I was Return of the Jedi. First of all, Empire was the first film I ever saw in the theaters with my dad and my brother, just like you, when I was a kid. But yeah, Return of the Jedi was the one that my mom took us out of school on like a Tuesday, and it was like, ooh. And I had a narc friend who I told about it, who I think was like shopping that shit around the schoolyard. It's like, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. Oh my God, kids are such assholes. Jesus Christ.
Remind me how you first saw this trilogy. Like, what was your wait period between
the original trilogy?
Like, yeah.
Oh, I'm a generational kid. So, like, my parents saw it, so I was indoctrinated, like, around the age of, I want to say 3, 4. That's when they start sitting us down saying, okay, this is your religion now. Get ready to pray, bitch.
At the church of the flannel shirt.
The church of the flannel shirts.
Yeah, we've had a few people on, I think, with a similar kind of story. And I think I knew the spoiler before, because, like, it was
I didn't. I knew nothing.
It was like people were just like, I am your father. Like, you just knew that, like, the misquoted line of, like, Luke, I am your father. Like, that was just ingrained in, you know, like, it was just like, because I was born in 84, so it was like, it was just part of the culture. Like, I just kind of grew up knowing that. And then whatever I was, like, 6 or 8 or whatever, when I first watched them, like, I had known that for my whole life of just like, Luke, I am your father. And it's like the misquoted thing, but like, it was, just part of the culture. So Okiro, you kind of, you said you were just blind going into it. I mean,
100%,
whatever, like that's
100% blind. I didn't know anything about Star Wars. It's just, here it is. I remember sitting down watching it with my baby sister and my brother and the older siblings. They already saw it, and like, you could tell they knew things were going to happen because they would be looking for our reactions. So there's me, 3, 4 years old, drooling like a dumb stick, just watching Empire Strikes Back. And for some reason, that shit kept me enamored, which is weird because I was one of those flagpole-licking ADHD kids. So you think I wouldn't be able to sit still and watch things like Yoda and Dagobah, but there's just me. Eyes glued to the TV, just staring at this little pothead frog trying to teach Luke all these things about the Force, and then there's this big black 6'8" refrigerator saying, "No, I am your father," and I'm just there like 4 years old, needing a diaper because I'm like, what the hell is going on? And my parents, because they're cruel, vindictive monsters, they're like, okay, now you're going to wait till next month to watch the other one because we only because they wanted, basically they had this thing where like they made everyone wait a time because they wanted like for our minds to get obsessed with it. So we were allowed to watch the movie again, but we weren't allowed to watch the next one till a month. So same thing happened with A New Hope, same thing happened with Empire. So we just had to wait a month. Just itching like crackheads.
A real cult methodology, like a crackhead. There you go. Exactly.
That's it. I was itching. I was itching. Like, hey, you got some of that Star Wars, mama?
Full Tyrone Biggums.
Fantastic.
See, Charlie, this is where you get to come to the cookout. You know who Tyrone Biggums is, and that just like probably flew over so many people's heads.
Dude,
I got it. I know it is.
I know that show backwards and forwards. I'm an enormous fan of that program.
Yeah, y'all got some brown sugar in you. I like that.
well, we are from the South originally.
Oh man, I'm gonna get us back on track a little bit here and ask Steve, what's your favorite character?
The Ugnaughts. Such a burden. Such a burden, people. Such a thankless job there. Right. I know. That's why I said it. I was trying to think after seeing that question. No, I mean, what can you say? Everybody goes to Han Solo, but I'm going to have to say the same thing, just because it was such an obvious for a young boy. It was such an obvious father figure, friend figure, badass. Does his own stuff, doesn't play by the rules, and always on the run from danger. Kind of thing. That I certainly appealed to me. It's been screwed with so many times over the years, but the Greedo scene is, the way it was is the way it was, and that's the way I will always remember it. And I don't need McClunky and all this dumb shit they've been adding into it to make it better.
and McClunky to you.
Yes, right.
We Catholics say that on Easter Sunday.
That's yeah.
But just knowing he was always running from danger, and he got roped into this kind of thing, and is that going to put Luke in more danger? Is he going to help? What else is going to happen here? That was even before the Jabba scene was put back in, but that just struck. And then obviously he had such a callous, semi-comedic attitude about everything that he was doing. That appealed to me. I think, if I had to sign myself, I am in no shape to be a not a bounty hunter, but a space cowboy these days. But if I had to equate myself with a personality type out of all those, it would be the Ugnaughts or Han Solo. So
I like that combination.
The deep and rich cultural heritage of the Ugnaughts.
I would like that to be the next show that's explored and how they got onto Cloud City.
Right? Yeah. They didn't fly up there. Well, they were enslaved. How else would they have been there?
I think that Lucas's Arts is missing a big opportunity here, and Disney is missing a big opportunity. But
no doubt about it. No doubt. It's controversial, but it would be worth it.
Did you play Jedi Fallen Order? Because I'm getting a little that crusty pilot vibe from what's it? The pilot in that game.
It's I can see his bearded face. It's Kyle Ren or Kyle Katarn. Isn't it Kyle Katarn?
No. Fallen Order. Fallen Order. Cal Kestis with.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, I did play that one, but I don't remember that guy's name.
Fella. He's crusty like an Ugnaught, but kind of that pilot.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of thing of Han Solo. His story might talk to you a little bit. If you had Force power, Steve, light side or dark side? Which way?
God, as somebody who just played again, I just did go back through the Switch and play Knights of the Old Republic again. Mm. And I played it this time as a good guy. The last time I played it, because I had a friend in Chicago, we always went opposite ends when we played a game together so we could compare and contrast notes. I was bad 15 years ago whenever I played it. This time I played it good, and I did not have as much fun. I had a lot more fun exploiting the game world with my bad powers. Not real life. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to go with the same thing I do in every fantasy game that I ever play. Usually get fire, snow, or lightning. I'm always lightning. That to me is always the thing. So Force lightning for good. If there's a way to actually start electric cars.
Just like
what is it with? I think Omar was the first person. Can I have Force lightning without being an asshole? Was Omar's quote, and he had last summer watched the Star Wars movies for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's right. And then he was out with us right after. I remember.
And that was his fantastic answer.
It's visually the most interesting of all of them, although Force Push, which I don't think they really did in the movies as much, but they did in the game, is always fun to see something get toppled over on its ass. But
yeah, something about Force lightning. It is satisfying for sure.
It's a visually sexy one.
I mean, we saw Rey with Force lightning. She almost thought she killed Chewie, but we saw it.
Oh yep. I had to think about that one for a second. Yep.
So we have the good side Force light. I mean, it came out with some almost. But
what about stun droid though? I mean, that seems like a wildly useful power.
That's one I remember very clearly from the Lego games, which we'll talk about in a moment here. Mm. Yes.
Yeah, actually, that's a good time to get into that. So thanks for sharing some Star Wars origin story. But let's jump into some of the let's loosely call this news and talk about Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Okiro, have you been jumping into this one yet?
I have not actually played it. I've been seeing people play it, but like the Squidward meme of watching Patrick and SpongeBob run around, I'm just looking through a window as everyone else is having fun, and I'm crying myself to sleep at night thinking, wow, I wish I could play this game.
Oh, man.
That's... okay. That is sad right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of really busy these days, and I really actually want to play it, and
all right,
really bad.
I have definitely not been able to put as much time into it as I would like, but I have been playing it a bit more than you. Steve, have you been playing this at all?
I have not, and so here's my question. Actually, I've played a whole lot of those the Lego games over the years, and I love them when I played them. Done the Harry Potter series, and I did a lot of the original Star Wars, whatever trilogy they were doing. So I'm obviously aware of this particular one. My question was, because another friend asked me about this other night, he's well into it with his kids, is I don't have any kids, and not that it's a kid game. How different is it, would you say, though, from the original ones? I mean, they're really twisting up the goof, the antics, and all that kind of stuff and changing around, or is it, obviously they haven't touched on some of the actual movies, but we've seen the first 6, right, in Lego format before. So how would you describe... Sell me, is what I'm saying.
Well, go for it. I would simply say that the antics, it's in the same vein. It has the same spirit, the same soul, but it's added more functionality and tricks. Like, it's got this great right trigger, left trigger lightsaber toss. which I was messing with. I've not played it as much as I'd like to either. It came in the mail when I was gone for work, and then we came back and I played it for a couple days, and then we were gone for the weekend in Chicago, and now I'm back playing it again. But yeah, lightsaber toss, the trigger shooting, you have to hold down and aim and different. So my muscles are reacclimating, but the functionality is different even from the last one. There was the solo Force Awakens game, which introduced a lot of newer functionality. This is kind of a next step, and it has different menus and hints and tricks and stuff that you can do. And my muscles are uncomfortable so far, but I'm getting there. But yeah, it's a new experience, and it plays very fast and loose. I mean, they have the whole level on Hoth where you've got Han and General Rykian. He's the other playable character. Have to reset a radar dish so you can find Luke in the Wampus Cave. I mean, it's totally off the wall and not at all along with the plot, but it's still fun to ride your Tauntaun and sometimes ride them off a cliff, and because you can't see where you're going. And I mean, it does provide kind of a fun experience. But yeah, it's wacky. You know, when on Cloud City, when the door opens and Vader's standing there and Han's supposed to pull out his gun and shoot him, he yanks out a banana and Vader grabs it. And then you see from Vader's POV, an apple comes at him, and an orange comes at him. So it's silly. It's silly in the same way that the other games are, but they've added a little bit. They've added some space battle stuff for the transition, and there's just it's good stuff. I'm looking forward to getting more into it. I did the deluxe edition, which came with character packs, which are really irrelevant when you're going through and doing story mode because you don't get them. And I've not done any free play yet because you got to go through the middle before you go back and explore a little bit. So I finished 4 and 5, and I just started 1 because you can start at the first chapter of each one of the trilogies. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
So if I can add a little bit to that, to Charlie's point, there are a lot of new mechanics in this. So if you've played Lego games before, you know that humor. This one hasn't changed at all. They've added some stuff to it, and they changed some things up, but if you don't like the Lego games, this one's not going to sell you on it. But if you have had fun with the Lego games and that kind of humor before, this one's fully voice acted. It's no longer, I can't remember if all of them were like this. But
the Force Awakens had the Lego Force Awakens. That one had voice acting. Didn't get to play that one either.
And it was looped where this has original voice talent.
Yeah. So they've re-recorded some things. They've got some great voice actors for some okay voice actors.
Yes, they're
doing impressions.
Their Qui-Gon is Sean Connery. I picked that up right away.
Yeah. But it's mechanically it's really new. So the lightsaber tossing mechanic, there's a lot of there's a cover system built into this, a lot of new combat. There's almost RPG elements of you can level up different parts of all of the different factions. So you can spend all of your coins leveling up just the Jedi section, or if you really like the dark side stuff, you can level up their powers, or you can have some overall powers that you can level up. So there's skill trees and stuff that I haven't seen in other Lego games before. So it's a lot deeper. There's a lot more to explore. There's free roaming sections, the hubs, travel between planets and stuff, space battles, like Charlie said. There's a lot more to this game than there has been in the other ones. It's almost like they completely rewrote the Lego engine for this game. So
that's why it only took 80 years for this game to come out. I mean, it was delayed. It was announced 3 or 4 years ago, so they really did. And every time I would bitch about it, I actually would be like, "Oh, it's going to be great, though. It's going to be great." It's pretty great, and it's here now, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I'm sold. I'm going to go get it. I mean, but it's nice to hear that actually, because I played the Harry Potters and Indiana Jones, the original Star Wars, all your Jurassic Parks, all that kind of stuff, and you get a little worn out on them because it's the same shit. So that's nice to hear that they're iterating and making something more interesting for.
At its core, it's still going to be a Lego game. You're still going to be collecting bricks, and you're still going to be collecting bits, and you're still going to be doing similar things to what you've done in other Lego games. You're going to be building. You're going to be figuring out what you have to knock down to rebuild it into something else. Those kind of standard Lego mechanics are fairly similar to what they have been in the past, but there's a whole lot of new meat wrapped around very familiar bones.
Meat wrapped around Lego bones.
Lego bones.
We'll have an episode, I think, in a little while talking about more of a deep dive into this game. So we'll wait. We'll play it We'll make sure we have every nook and cranny explored and every single bit collected, and then we'll come back and have a full discussion. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on co-op mode as well. So we'll cover this game a little bit more. But for right now, let's move on to some exciting news for me anyway. Peter Ramsey is coming
I love that.
to Ahsoka. Okiro, you want to jump on this one?
Oh, I want to jump on it I can't swear too much. I love Peter Ramsey. I love Peter Ramsey. I've loved him since Rise of the Guardians. I loved him in the Spider-Verse. He's making a new movie out that I'm going to sim for. I'm going to say a really hot take here. I've never been the biggest fan of Dave Filoni ironically when it's come to animated Star Wars. Like, I've seen a lot of animated things. I'm just like, it's good, but like I've seen animated directors who can do more. And Peter Ramsey, he slaps you. You say thank you. It's not like a Chris Rock Will Smith situation. He slaps you. You really say thank you. I just increased the views by like 10%. I said Will Smith.
Yeah,
no, but seriously,
hashtag controversy.
Yeah.
But seriously, he is so good, and I'm more excited for his episode than anything other than anyone doing the Ahsoka show right now. I'm a big simp for Peter Ramsey, just a big simp. Yeah.
And so he's tapped to direct at least one episode. Every report I've read said at least one. So he could be more involved. He could just come in and do one and done. But I'm hoping, maybe he's overseeing a couple, maybe doing producing, storyboarding. His background really before he started directing was storyboarding. So we could really see him kind of more involved in this show, and I hope they get him as involved as they possibly can. For anyone that doesn't recognize him, he's a co-director of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He is the, I believe, first... I don't want to get this wrong, so I think... Hold on, I'm trying to... first black filmmaker ever to bring home the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. For, again, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Like I said, he's done storyboarding for Fight Club, Men in Black, Mortal Kombat. He's breaking into the directing scene, like Akara said. He's got some more stuff coming up. This is exciting. This one's really cool.
Rock and roll. Good deal.
Yeah. And filming starts this month for
Ahsoka.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Hot stuff.
So for anyone on Star Wars Twitter or going around Star
God
Wars
help you if you're on Star Wars Twitter.
You've probably seen some leaks of a certain Sith, spiky-headed, dual-blading lightsaber person potentially on set for Ahsoka. I'm taking those images with a grain of salt because they haven't started filming the damn show yet. So it'd be cool if
Oh no, that's actually a fan film. Someone actually traced it down. Yeah, it's a fan film. They found their Instagram. It's hold on, actually I can tell you it's so deep into that. I got a group. I have a group chat that we talk Star Wars, and it's like 900 messages in. But yeah, it's a fan film, a good fan film. But it's a fan film they're working on.
Good enough. Okay, so I'm glad that was debunked live.
Star Wars.
I saw that and I was like, they haven't started filming this. What is this? Like Photoshop or some weird cosplay in the desert kind of looking stuff. But okay, fan film. That's cool. I'll have to look that up.
I just sent it to you on Twitter.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate just sent you right
now. That's great. So any other exciting news in the land of Star Wars you guys want to cover before we move on?
There's this little thing coming up next month that according to all reports, we're going to have a lot of big information and announcements coming.
Yep.
Star Wars Celebration. Any of you guys going?
I am not. No.
Not here. No.
I priced it out.
And it priced you off. Well, I am certain we will donate a large chunk, if not most of an episode, talking about what rolls out of that. After May the 4th, I assume. I wasn't even looking at the calendar, but something tells me it could be right around May the 4th that it's happening. Is that correct?
No, it's happening at the end of May. I think like what 26 to 31st.
Right
at same. It starts the same day as Kenobi starts.
Oh, so the 27th. Okay,
no,
all right.
Oh no, they moved Kenobi back 2 days. Remember?
Yeah,
they pushed it back by 2 days. No, they pushed it forward by 2 days. Yeah, they delayed it by 2 days.
I thought they pushed it back, then pushed it forward again. It's like, come on. Oh my goodness.
No, I think it is the 27th. That's the Friday. So I think Celebration starts that Friday.
26th to the 20th.
The 26th, 27th, somewhere around there.
It starts the 26th, and then Kenobi happens 2 days later.
We might have to roll out a special.
Yeah.
There's too much news. Oh my gosh.
My most anticipated thing, I'm hoping Jedi Fallen Order 2. I've heard some rumors that's going to be announced at Celebration.
Right.
That would
please bring back my wife.
Done. Whatever else they announce, man.
Bring back my wife, Trilla. I miss you, baby. Come back.
Yes.
Aw. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, fellas, let's move on and talk about the subject, really, of this show. 35 minutes in, let's get to the main topic, I suppose.
Yes. We're working hard at dancing around.
Exactly. But we're here to talk about Empire Strikes Back. We've already talked about this a little bit in talking about our favorite movies and all that kind of stuff at the start. So I think anyone listening to a Star Wars podcast, especially 35, 36 minutes in, is going to be familiar with the Empire Strikes Back. But if you're new to Star Wars and we're your first jump in, Charlie, you want to give us a very quick summary about this film and why it's important?
I would love to, and I'll do what I did last time. I'm going to read the crawl, assuming that it's in here somewhere. Oh, it is a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base and pursued them across the galaxy. Evading the dreaded Imperial Starfleet, a group of freedom fighters led by Luke Skywalker, which is not true, has established a... Sorry, yes. There's a little too much gloss on that one. Has established a new secret base on the remote ice world of Hoth. The evil Lord Vader, obsessed with finding the young Skywalker, has dispatched thousands of probe droids into the far reaches of space. ... extra fucking dot. There you go.
Love those extra dots.
I like the fucking dot too. I can't believe they put that. I can't believe they put that in theaters in like the 80s. Fucking dot.
Did. It was still G-rated. You could throw one fuck in there. I mean, no, that's not correct. But yeah, this was the what happens when you have a hugely successful film that's all bright and show. Oh, gee, golly whiz, Luke Skywalker. And then what happens after that? Well, in particular, you follow the chronology of the Marvel comics, they spent 3 years pretty much getting their ass kicked, and then they ended up on Hoth. So it's like, boo, they're already starting on a down note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is 3 years after A New Hope. Because you don't really get too much of a sense of timeline in a lot of the Star Wars films, especially in this one. There's that kind of, I'll say, montage section of Luke training, and it seems like he's training with Yoda for like a couple of days, but he's supposed to be there for a number of months. And then at the same time, it's kind of cutting into Han and Leia in Cloud City, and it seems like they're only there for a couple of days, and they are maybe there for a couple of days. I was reading an interesting theory about that, where like Dagobah, the time passes differently or something like that. So like where Luke is there, it seems like it's a couple of months for him, but on Cloud City or something, because they're floating above a planet or something, time passes differently there as well. So it's only like a matter of days or weeks or something like that. Long story short, people make up weird physics questions and hypotheses.
Yeah, I mean, even as
scientific term.
Even as you're reading through this summary, it refers to days later, the next day, this and that. So
right,
it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, so it's very fuzzy. Because again, we're watching a movie for 2 hours and nobody ever changes their clothes except for Leia. So, or takes a shower or goes to the bathroom. So there's really nothing to mark the passage of time in any fashion. Plus, it's in space, so relativistic speeds, this thing and that thing, time passes differently. Why not?
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's a weird Inception kind of reach to me, at least on the old multi passages of time that is going there. I don't know. I just like when you were reading that crawl again, and I'm not watching the movie. It was making me think of the fact that when you're all of a sudden on Hoth, it opens up your imagination to what the hell did happen to all this back there. And you guys are you're way more in depth than I am. Now, I am a Star Wars fan, and I played all the video games. I am not super deep into the comics or any of the books or anything like that. So even you just saying that for a second, I was like, oh, that happened then. But I've spent the last 35, 40 years going, what has happened then? But it didn't necessarily matter though, because it was just lost in the annals of the imagination. And as far as like the time and the ellipses passing through the movie of whether who was on, how long, you always figured Luke was on Dagobah a lot longer than just 2 or 3 days, because that would be a really worthless kind of training thing. But I don't know, you're talking about that, but I never saw it as Luke was down there, and then at the exact same time, Luke and Leia were up here. I don't know what they were getting breakfast or something for the 2 months. I don't know. It just cuts around. As a more casual observer, it didn't seem to, it certainly doesn't detract from how the movies are playing out, or most movies, because obviously you watch most movies and there are time ellipses all over the place that are just cutting out kind of the fat. But hearing you guys say that kind of stuff, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners have that, it fires off the imagination a lot to know that the canonical material that elaborates on that is out there.
Okiro, you've been building on this one since you said you were 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
What has your brain filled in for those kind of questions? What happened in between the episode 4 and this one? What do you consider the correct passage of time? What are your favorite theories on this one?
Well, I got really lucky growing up because I was able to read lots of legend stuff between A New Hope and Empire, and then, Disney came over, they did their own stories, so I never really wondered what happened between there, but my personal headcanon, I always said, 2. The first headcanon was, it was just a couple days Luke was on Dagobah, but since he never had Force training, Yoda was helping, awaken things that were always inside of him, so it was
Force awakens, huh?
Wow, Charlie, that was good.
You're welcome. That's what I do.
The dad jokes are starting to hit.
This whole call.
The dad jokes are starting to hit pretty good. I think it's time I start having kids.
Oh, there we go. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find a random person. It doesn't have to be someone I love.
That's how it works. That's fine.
Okay. That's okay. All right.
So that was one.
I didn't really. I just thought he was on Dagobah for a couple days, and I always just headcanoned that he was self-training himself. Whatever time skip it was, he was just training, whacking the stick around, because you see him when he gets kidnapped by Wookiee's cousin, White Chewbacca, and he's in the cave and he force calls the lightsaber. So okay, Luke's got some skills. Albino Chewie was about to eat him, but he managed to cut his arm off. Yeah, I call that one White Chewie, and I call
albino Chewie,
and I call Black Chrysanthemum Wakanda Chewbacca.
That is my new favorite.
My second day was after I watched the movie Interstellar, and they're talking about all these planet physics, one day here is years outside, so I thought it was kind of the reverse, a couple days in space was maybe a couple months on Dagobah, but he was still getting. The thing is though, everyone talks about how little training Luke got. When he met Vader, he was getting that ass spanked like it was nap time. Vader is he's toying with him.
Yeah.
He's taking his lightsaber out. He's taking his hand away. He saw
he always does stuff one-handed. He's like, meh. He might as well be.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, Luke is swinging with everything he's got.
Swinging wildly.
Yeah, he's swinging. He's sweating. He's panting. Vader's like, I saw what you did on Hoth. I'm going to beat you, boy. It doesn't matter to him.
He beat me like he didn't know me.
He beat him like that was his son, and it turns out it was.
Oh, Lordy.
let's talk about some of our favorite characters specific to this movie. Okiro, who in this movie stands out to you?
Oh, Lando, of course. You just got this smooth player walking up, kissing Han's girl on the hand. He's got a cape. He's running this cloud in the skies, and I was actually really impressed with his character because there's a little nuance thing that he didn't betray Han because he's a dick. He betrayed Han because, hey, my people, or this smuggler I haven't seen in a couple years. Yeah, I'm gonna choose my people. Mm-hmm. But in the end, he still, he goes to help them. He helps Leia break out. He promises, hey, we will find Han.
Ham salad. There is quick sidebar, Mark. I don't know. You've not yet gotten to the original trilogy in the Lego game, but there is a great Lando cape reveal on Cloud City that will send Oxtra, because I know Todd's playing too. His favorite jokes are about Lando and his capes. There's a very satisfactory Lando cape Easter egg in the Cloud City lightsaber duel. So I'm just going to put that out there.
I forget which episode it was, but I still stick with it that I would watch like a Project Runway or some kind of show with Lando's wardrobe. Like the capes, the sidekick. Just give it to me.
You know it would deliver. Yes, you do.
I would watch that on Disney Plus. Steve, what about you?
Oh, Lobot. Again, just one of these subservient freaking, Cloud City people. You got to do something. I want to know how they got there, what the hierarchy of labor, whatever, you call it up there. That's a lie. I'm just trying to think of the most random, obscure stuff that makes it look like I know more than I'm talking about. I'm going with Yoda, and I'm going to go because obviously not only was the characterization written in a fantastic and different kind of way, but the execution was something that nobody had ever seen before, and I'm not the first person, obviously, to say that. Mm-hmm. I find it hard to believe anybody can actually watch that movie and not think you're looking at a real being like in that. And even more so than when you're watching other Jim Henson kind of things. There's just such nuance and such goofy mannerisms to him, and how his ears wiggle and just the furrowed brow and all that as a kid was absolutely captivating. I totally could believe that thing was there. And I mean, obviously they've never been able to replicate that, even in the new movies when they tried it digital and then they went back to puppet, I think, for...
That puppet was god awful.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
It was creepy looking.
I would have taken a hybrid cross between Kermit and Big Bird before I took that puppet they put in episode 1. Fuck that.
Oh, I was talking about The Last Jedi.
No, I'm talking about The Last Jedi. That one was...
Luke was very calm. Like, you have this creepy-looking, dried-up-looking Yoda. He's like, Master Yoda, oh my god, Yoda, what the fuck happened to you? The Force has been weird. I've been hanging out with your father. He killed some kids. What the fuck? Why did you redeem him, Master Luke?
He was having some of that Dagobah wacky weed. He was tripped out. He was laughing and kicking his feet. It's like,
I was just kicking his feet up, and his mannerisms were like somebody who was trying to emulate what Frank Oz was doing. But was Frank doing this again for that one? I think he was, actually.
Yeah, Frank did the boy, but the writing is all...
Okay, the writing was terrible, and it's like an old man. It's like when you watch an old band, and I love bands, but when you're watching some older bands like Aerosmith try to get up there and dance like they used to 30 years ago, it's just not the same thing, man. Your sensibilities are different, your moves and your body don't work the same way, and they were just trying to emulate things. It just didn't feel genuine in that movie like that original one did. So I
was going to say, my most unpopular opinion about Yoda, it's a little tangent, but like, Lucas did take I know it's a prequel, so it's like, oh, Yoda changed as he was, in the swamp going crazy, but I think a lot of people forget though, like, he was only crazy when he first met Luke, and then after that he became calm and serious, so that
he was doing shtick. He
dropped it, and then like Ryan's like, oh no, let's do this whole thing again, and like, yeah, okay, we're here.
But could that possibly be? I mean, to me, that was just like the evolution of the writing, evolution of. I know Lucas knew what he wanted to do all the way through there, but to set up an interesting character who's been like Ben was living as a hermit, who has to do the crate dragon or whatever noise. Right. You gotta be a little eccentric to start off your character as interesting, and then kind of calm it down. Because in Jedi he was very mentally and calm and quiet. He was also about to die, but
same thing in Empire though. Like he's crazy at the beginning of Empire, but all his lessons. Because I just watched Empire when this beautiful Canadian Mark over here told me, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking." I was like, "Okay, let me brush up on it." After he introduces himself as Yoda, the rest is all serious. He's like, "Luminous beings are we? We're all your flesh, your nice and squishy, fleshy, bony, Marky Hamill."
He's getting all Bill Shakespeare on this shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, what you didn't see is a deleted scene that's surprisingly only on one version of a laser disc. Probably not the ones that Steve has.
I think it might have been, actually.
But it's actually after he beats R2-D2 with a stick, he smokes some electric lettuce, and that's what calms him right down.
That wasn't on my desk. You're right. Yeah.
Have your medicine, little buddy. Have your medicine. It's okay.
I go through a very serious perspective, so I'm like, wait, what the hell did you do, George? I was about to start Googling, like, wait, George, did you actually have Yoda pull out a dude?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But no,
everything is green on Dagobah. There you go.
Nice. I think he was reminded of his past life because something came there that was from that felt like it was from that, and that kind of didn't trip. He was playing a character. Don't you ever walk into a bar and when you meet somebody, you kind of front a little different than you do 10 minutes later after you meet him? I think he kind of was reminded of his last life, and that's why he kind of, all right, simmered down. Hey, I remember this. This was a lot better than the swamp. So,
yeah, right.
How long was Yoda there for the uninitiated like me to build this little hut and become friend?
25 years by himself, pretty much.
Yeah,
25, yeah. So,
at this point, yeah. 20.
So not very long in his lifespan.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So how then in Star Wars 1, the original one, when they originally had the puppet where it looked like he was like a 12-year-old Yoda, if he's supposed to be 900 years old and there's only 30 years somehow in the original prequels, how old the hell was he before he went to Dagobah?
I've got one word for you: Botox.
Okay, fair enough, but
there you go. He did. No, because he is. Yeah, the Yoda species lives 800 or 900 years, but again, the span of time that we saw him was only like 25 years. So
yeah, he aged a lot.
Yeah, well, think about how Ewan McGregor becomes Sir Alec Guinness in the space of 19 years.
No, 10 now, 10. Because in Kenobi. Kenobi, he's sexy. We still get sexy Ewan for Kenobi. So in 10 years, he goes from sexy Ewan McGregor to old Alec.
By the time of Rebels, which is a year or so before Episode 4, he's Alec. So something really bad happens to him that he got the gray hair stress. That's what it was.
Yeah,
maybe he got married, divorced,
and then married and divorced.
Yeah, child support and all this, having to deal with custody issues, and I'm just saying that's that.
I think it was Luke's puberty. Luke went through puberty and he had to deal. He survived one horny Skywalker talking to Padme. He couldn't survive horny Luke. Luke was just Luke is a hillbilly. Luke was taking girls down to Tashi Station and hooking up power converters, and you just have old been there. Luke, please use a condom. We cannot have more Skywalkers running around.
Oh my god! Yeah, I ain't got that much time.
I've seen what your family does to children.
Shit!
Especially with the lightsaber that he's going to give. Jesus. Let's circle back for a second. I want to talk about some favorite scenes. Dagobah seems to be maybe a hot point. Steve, any other favorite scenes jump out at you in this?
I mean, everybody's going to probably say the "No, I'm your father" scene, but I'm the Hoth battle, man. That is when you guys said let's come on and talk about this, I immediately threw it into my theater and watched the Hoth battle again because. One, that is cinematically is a fascinating and well executed action scene, but two, as a lover of movies and a person who follows special effects and does animation and video work, remembering that and continued. I still watch the behind the scenes on those movies as much as I watch the movies. It's lame, but just the stop motion and Phil Tippett and that whole world and Dennis Muir and figuring all that kind of stuff out and just the care and construction and craft that they put into making that happen. Mm-hmm. And then when they went back in and fixed it, which, Empire was like the least screwed with movie when they kind of went back and did the new versions. Right. They didn't really tamper with it. They just cleaned up the obvious things they could not do at the time. They didn't make it better. They just cleaned up like what they could do at the time. I am curious. is a slight detail that I'm sure you guys would know between the two. I was always fascinated by like the extra bits of dialogue they cut in or they cut out over the different versions over the years. Like Luke says, "This is it," right before he gets shot down in the Hoth battle. He's here. Let's go. Ready? This is it. Which was not in the original movies. They put it back in that one, and I think they cut it out again for like the re-release on Blu-ray. But
that's like Luke's really pansy scream when he falls off.
Oh yeah.
In the special editions, he's like, "Ah!" And
completely.
Well, just like a total 12-year-old girl. Cut it.
But it undercuts his character. I mean, it completely takes away from the badassery of his choice to fall off that and either... Right. I don't know if he knew he was going to die or not, or he knew he was going to be saved. I doubt he thought he was going to be saved, but his choice just to say, I'm going to go, right? Do you think he decided to do that because he knew he was going to be safe landing, or he just wanted to suicide off that because of...
Peace out?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a pretty lucky thing to get sucked into that shaft right above.
Lucky thing to get sucked into that shaft. That's what she said.
Right. But
it would have been only worse if he would have gone while he was going down. Anyway,
what favorite scenes of Cairo?
The ending. The ending is my personal favorite. I've got like two favorite endings. One is. Three. One is Return, of course, Victory Celebration. Then you get Revenge of the Sith, everything's hopeless, but Empire is just, that is the biggest balls I've ever had. I've seen Star Wars have, and everyone's been trying to copy it. Every franchise, this is next Empire. Star Wars itself, The Last Jedi is the next Empire, but there is so much confidence in, okay, we're going to mutilate our hero, take his hand, break his world, tell him that his dad was not actually a hero like he thought he was. Ben Kenobi, nope, lied to him for years. Han Solo's gone, Leia's heartbroken. It's just the biggest ballsy ending I've ever seen in Star Wars, and it ends in this weird bittersweet because it's not even hopeful. It's like you don't know if they're gonna win again. It's just pure bitter. It's a downer ending, just all around depressing, but Luke is still there for Leia, and he's not going to give up because Luke doesn't give up.
Yep. Love it. Charlie, favorite scene?
I am particularly kind of, I talked in episode 4 about how I love the swell of John Williams' score as Luke looks out over the twin suns setting and thinking about the future, where I love the scene in the carbon freezing chamber where Leia and Han, put their cards on the table. I love you. I know. Like he's always known. Because everybody on this call in one way or the other, I come bearing a cat, has dealt with love, whether true love or not true love, or the preponderance of something in between. And when you know, you know. And the two of them had been sparring for the 3 years that they'd known each other, but had clearly always been in love. And he didn't need to say it because it was understood. And I really like that the older that I get, understanding love the way that I do. I thought that was cool. It was very non-Star Wars, but it was a very fine, personal, emotional moment. I liked it.
Can I jump in real quick, Charlie? Now, knowing, and I'm sure you probably do, but that was an ad lib. And do you think that was his? I mean, everybody that was Harrison Ford knew his character better than the writing, and decided that yes, I'm going to go that way, and then that's what I'm going to say because he was supposed to say I love you, right? And
sure,
I love you too, or whatever. Is that? I mean, do you feel that Harrison? Because actors do that all the time. They ad lib things that they think are better than the writing style because how they played it.
Without a doubt. I mean, even Harrison has acknowledged Han Solo as the smartass as far as the character. So you'd expect him to say that, but there was something underneath it, not him just being like, "Yeah, I got her right where I want her." Well, he doesn't have her right where he want her. He's about ready to get flash frozen like a goddamn fish stick, and he never knows if he's going to come out of it again. So, so this was him with kind of his balls hanging out. Time to tell the truth, and he did. Yeah. And I thought it was a great moment.
No,
and he says it without saying it, which is I think shows the strength of how well he knows the character, but also the strength of his acting. And because you can tell that he's feeling conflicted. Like he wants to just be like, I love you too. But instead it comes out as I know, because of everything that Han's been through, and he's still trying to be strong and whatever, but he is very vulnerable at that point. So the subtext of I know is like, I love you too. I'm super scared. Shit. Like this could be goodbye. But he says all of that within this cool little I know that I think just defines his character so well. And the first time you see that, you understand every single thing that he means underneath the surface, but it comes out as I know. And when you see it, you know. You know, like that's the beauty of that one line. It's just perfect. One scene that always stood out to me, just because no one else has said it, and I love the scenes you guys have mentioned already, but the weird underground training where Luke goes under the tree or whatever and fights Vader, and he's fighting himself. That always tripped me out as a kid. Totally. That one was just always like, what is this movie doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, psychologically, did you realize he was fighting himself as a 7-year-old? I don't know what age you'll watch it, but I had no idea that what the hell is his face doing inside this mask?
Yeah, right. How did that get there?
Yeah. But he just roll with it. Okay.
Yep, 100%. It was just like, okay, cool. I don't know. Maybe he's scared of himself. Like, I maybe kind of understood a tiny bit of it, but not like anywhere close to what I should. So before we wrap this up, I want to know, I think this is pretty high on everyone's list. Okiro, you said this is your favorite film in the series. Where does this rank, and how important is this to the overall Star Wars saga?
It's funny, I kind of flip-flop, because sometimes my favorite film isn't the film I think is the best. But in terms of what is the best, it's Empire. Just hands down, everything the franchise is, it doesn't matter if you don't like it, everything the franchise is and what it has expanded upon, it's from Empire. The family, Empire. Who Vader is, Empire. The light and the dark side conflict, Empire. Everything is Empire. Everything the films have been taking from and expanding, it all started with that film. If anything, Empire is, to me, kind of the actual start of Star Wars, while A New Hope, it's kind of got more in common with George's American Graffiti. If you watch the films back to back, that one's more of a coming of age adventure story, while Empire is like the soap opera that the story expanded into.
The space opera,
space opera,
exactly. Yeah. I'm in the same place. I've always said that this is number one for me. Maybe it's because it's the first film that I ever saw in the theater, and the only things that I remember about seeing it is that instead of previews on the screen was an out of focus white picket fence, and my dad and my brother and I played rock paper scissors because there was nothing else to do, and I remember absolutely nothing else. And then we had it on a VHS copy that was a dub that the first 15 minutes of it were fuzzed out. I've told this story before, so it was a fractured experience for me, but still will always be number one, because again, it's life. You're on the run. You don't know what's up. Life packs in unpleasant surprises. You find love, and then she moves to France. It's just like, it's a series of down notes like Kevin Smith wrote in Clerks. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Life is a series of down notes.
Life's a series of down. There's your episode title. Kevin Smith may or may not sue us. I have no idea.
Steve, what about you?
5, 4, 6, 3, 1, 2. That's my order of the movies, and I think the "I am your father" line encapsulates everything you guys already said. So that one line there encapsulates everything Star Wars is about on the original trilogy. There, the pursuit of knowing who your lineage is, figuring that out, and the story of where your lineage came from, and just the whole familial. It's a family story, and that's what they were trying to capture with the new trilogy to some effect, but that to me encapsulates the entire thing. Best cinematic, certainly best executed cinematic movie as far as a dramatic interpretation, it's just a wonderful linchpin for the entire Star Wars collection. I think of everything.
For sure, this movie always, to me, defined how much better my brother's taste in movies is than mine. My brother is 2.5 years younger than me, and this one was always his favorite. Even when we were kids, this one was his favorite, whereas I was always a Return of the Jedi guy. and I liked the green lightsaber, that opening sequence, Luke all in his black suit doing the flippity flips and the explosions and this and that, little Ewoks like fighting the big stormtroopers and everything else. That one for me as a kid was like, this is peak cinema right here. There's a teddy bear fighting a stormtrooper. They just knocked out the walker with a stick and a couple of logs. Like this is peak entertainment. And my brother was like, nope, Empire's a better movie. And he's right. And he has been right forever. I'm like, I will watch like I said, my Marvel movies and everything else. And my brother likes good movies. Not to say the Marvel movies aren't good, but like,
it's okay. It's okay. Martin Scorsese agrees with you. Martin Scorsese's there like, yeah. Keep talking. I like this.
Great. No, they're fantastic movies, and they're very entertaining, and you can look deeper in them. But like, I'll have like a stupid popcorn movie is one of my favorite ones that is just like mindless entertainment or like slightly layered entertainment. My brother will like watch some cinematic masterpiece and be like, no, you got to watch this thing, you dumbass. And this is always just since we've been kids, he's like this one and has been like, no, it's a better movie. Like watch it and stop being a dumbass. And like, it is one of the best cinematic Star Wars movies and sets up so much of the universe. You guys are right on. So Empire Strikes Back is amazing. Yeah. So that's it.
Amazing.
It's been decided. There it is. Everybody.
It's done. We've solved it. It's
Absolutely.
Game over, man.
Okay, there's no more Star Wars, man. We've decided Star Wars is now canceled.
Yes,
it's over.
It can do no more. It can be none more black.
Yep.
No more black. Okay, guys, you heard Charlie. No more black. I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on.
I gotta leave forever.
No, come on. Now, Steve knows what I'm talking about.
I'm taking all the people with me. No more grits. No more soul food.
Oh boy, just leave the soul food.
I am not on board with any of this.
We're taking Mark too. We're taking Mark. Mark gets the cook advice. We're taking
Me either. I'm cool.
Absolutely a quote from Spinal Tap that has nothing to do with race. And thank you very much. And I am leaving.
Charlie's canceling himself now. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. This was a busy episode. I wasn't, with four people. It can be tough for everyone to get their say. So I hope you guys had a good time.
But Mark,
absolutely,
there was one thing that you forgot to say. It has to do with a certain affiliate.
Oh, level up lightsabers. Lightsaber guaranteed better than a stick. If you go on leveluplightsaber.com, I get a little kickback. So the link is in the show notes. Beauty.
I'm gonna go in there. I want a lightsaber. I'm going.
Yeah, me too.
All right, look at that.
Yes, you got two people going already.
There we go. I just saw he just built a new thing that I really want to order. It's like a pirate lightsaber, so it's a lightsaber with a guard on it, and the flat kind of looks like the Darksaber blade, only it's got like a cool curve to it. It looks like a pirate sword. It's just wild. I need to order that one for myself. But enough about me, fellas. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. I know you're not super busy on the internet, but if people wanted to find you, do you want them to find you, and where can
probably not, I guess.
No, I'm very selective. I wish I had a bunch of handles and stuff online that I could go other than my work one, but I'm not going to whore myself out about my work. So, my name's Steve. I have a Facebook page.
Judging by the last few weeks, you're going to be on every single Secret Friend show, just in rotation.
He's now in the stable. He's going to be called.
That'll be my impetus. Yes, Charlie.
Steve's the non-working whore. There we go.
Yep, there we go.
Well, Cairo, I know you're busier online, so tell me.
I'm a filthy whore. I'm like Steve. I'm the biggest whore. I'm one of the biggest whores you'll meet on the internet.
You're such a whore. We can't even see your picture. You're such a whore.
Yeah.
You can go on my OnlyFans. You'll find it. It's okay. You can find me YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, everything. It's just the first Okiro, the first Okiro. And if you go into your bed, lift up your sheets, I'll be there waiting for you. I'll be there too.
Oh my God!
Nice.
Loren's going off with Jason Momoa. Okiro's going to be Finn's new stepdad. It's all good.
Oh, well, you know what? These kind of things happen. As always, you can find me over on Twitter at the C3 Spell It Out. The wife and I also run the West Michigan chapter of the International Star Trek Fan Club, the USS Grand Petoskey. Find us everywhere online at that handle. I also try to put content on the Secret Friends Unite Facebook page when I can tear myself away from my exciting day job. But that's me, friends.
And you can find me everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere. _Canardian.
Magnificent. Cool. Friends, thank you as always for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking.
May the force be with you. Rex, play us out.
And scene.
Awesome.
Jesus, he just goes every single. This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.